Let's talk about numerology and your specific power numbers. Now, numerology's been around for a long time. There's the Pythagorean system, which goes from 1 to 9. And then there's the Chaldean system that goes from 1 to 8, because they believed that the number 9 was very special, was very spiritual. So contained within numbers is certain archetypical vibrations. And they're also related to, planetary energies. So we have another theme of a way of discovering more about your tendencies by understanding the numbers that are contained within your birth code. The day you're born, the number that your date of birth adds up to, and then the third is the numbers that then your birth name add up to. We're going to talk a little bit about numerology in relations to yourself. So it provides you a snapshot of your characteristics, and often it offers you a direction or it's like the way you're designed to express yourself. So like you might be able to be a teacher or an entertainer or a researcher. I mean, it's those sort of directions you can get. And it will help you identify built-in conflicts, which it seems like all the birth charts I've run into, there's some sort of an inner conundrum that goes on, a little tug, a little push-pull that causes challenges, causes you to push beyond where you are now. It's an opportunity for growth. It can suggest your route to success. There's different calculations you can do in numerology, and you can find out what you have to go through to achieve success and your purpose, and what you have to do, how you have to apply yourself to achieve success. And also within the numerology, you can understand what life stage you're in. So just like we're in a universal 9-year cycle this year, and we're starting off a new 9-year cycle, each one of us has our own individual 9-year cycle, and it's like a microcosm of the macrocosm. We have our where we initiate new seeds, what we want to create, and then through the next 9 years, it's like you go through the steps and the processes and the phases and creating that experience. And then at the end of the 9 years, you evaluate and say, well, this worked or it didn't work, and you create a new one. So, and there's a whole many more calculations that you can do to understand more about yourself, like, whether you have determination, or whether you have acute mental abilities, or, just a number of different things. So numerology is its own field within itself. So we're just going to touch on just the basics here, just enough so that for you to try to get an understanding of who you are and how your numbers and your energies connect and relate to the energies that we're dealing with globally through this year. So you have 3 important birth numbers. You're like your power numbers. They're like what defines you in a broad perspective. So the first one is your soul essence, and that's like the core of who you are. It's like what you're broadcasting. It's your vibration. It's what you're broadcasting out, and you aren't even aware of it. And this number is based on your birthday. The next number that's important is your life purpose, and this is how you go about expressing your soul essence, or the core of who you are. And this is a little bit more, it's still kind of an automatic way of expressing. It's like, maybe you're honest, or you're secretive, or you're in service, or responsible, it's things like that. And the third number that's very important is your destiny number. And this is like your career or your profession. And it's kind of like the way you take the essence of who you are and your life purpose and you bring it out into the world. And this number is calculated from the letters in your full birth name. Now, we aren't going to go into that calculation. We're just going to stay mainly with the first two. But if you do have that third number, that's very, very helpful. So here's how to go about calculating your soul essence number. So your soul essence is the day you were born. So if you were born, for example, on August 8th, the number 8 is your soul essence. If you are born on October 10th, the 10 is your soul essence. And what you will do is you will reduce that to the number 1, because for the purposes of calculating your year, you need to reduce it to 1, to a single digit. But as far as your soul essence, the 1 and the 10 have their own specific vibrations, which also support each other. So the two of them actually go together to create a more rounded number of a more rounded symbol archetype of who you are at the soul level, at your core inner being. This is something you express without even thinking about it. And if your birthday is on June 23rd, then your soul essence is a number 23, which reduces to a number 5. So now jot down on a piece of paper or on your worksheet, what is your birthday, and make a note that this is your soul essence. The next number we're going to calculate is your life purpose. Now, it's a little bit more involved than just taking your birthday, but it's not much more involved. So let's say your birthday is August 8th, 1961. What you do is you add each digit together. So you'd have 8, which is for the month of August, and 8, which is for the day, and then you have 1 plus 9 plus 6 plus 1, which equals 33. Now that's a 33 is a master number for one thing. So, and then it also reduces to the number 6. So your life purpose would be a 33-6. If your birthday was October 10th, 1974, you'd have 1 plus 0, because that's the number for October, and then 1 plus 0, because that's the day, the number 10, and then 1 plus 9 plus 7 plus 4, and that equals a 23, and 23 reduces to a 5. And we'll do one more. It's if your birthday was June 23rd, 1986, the June is the 6th month, so that's 6, and then plus 2 plus 3, and then plus 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 6 equals 35, and that reduces to the number 8. So go ahead and calculate your life purpose number. So now you have a little bit of a feel for how this works, and you also have 2 of your important numbers, which we'll talk about in just a minute, why that's important to know these things. So now what we're going to do is calculate your personal life stage or your personal year. And to do this, you take the month, your birth month, and your birth day, and you add that to the current year. Now there's a trick to this, because the current year that you are in goes from birthday to birthday. So if in 2017 your birthday isn't till August, then you are still in the current year that you are in is in last year's number, which was a number 9. And then after August, you will be in a 1 year, which is what 2017 is. So I know it sounds confusing, but let me run through a couple of examples, and hopefully it'll make sense to you. The main thing to remember is that your birthday is the cutoff time, and before your birthday, it's last year's number, and after your birthday, it's the current year's number. So let's say, for example, your birthday is August 8th, 1961. We won't worry about the year you were born. So your personal cycle up to August 8th will be adding the number 8 for August and the number 8 for the day, and number 9, which was last year, 2016's number, universal number, and that equals a 25. And you would reduce this to a single digit, which is a 2 plus the 5 equals 7. So 7, it would be your personal year up till August 7th. And then after, on your birthday, on August 8th, you would do the new calculation, which would be 8 plus 1, because 2017 works out to be a 1. It's a 10-1 year. And that equals 17, which happens to be the double digit that the 2017, it's the 17. So that will reduce to 8. So it will be an 8 personal year after your birthday. Now, because we are in a 17 and an 8, we are dealing with those particular energies this year. If this is your personal number, if this is your personal cycle right now, you are going to be highly impacted and really motivated. You're going to feel these energies really strongly because they're like duplicated and amplified. So for a person in this particular situation, they will really feel the drive to do something, to create something, to do something important, to set the stage, to be the leader. It's a very powerful time, especially because it's being amplified by the universal year that we are in. Let's take another example. So let's say you're born October 10th. So up till October 10th, you will be using last year's number, which is a number 9. So in the calculation, you'll go 1 plus 0 plus 1 plus 0 plus 9, and that equals 11. And then you will reduce that to 2. So you would be in a personal year of the number 2, archetype, up until October 9th. And then as soon as you had your birthday on October 10th, then the calculation would change, and it would be 1 plus 0 plus 1 plus 0 plus 1 for the current year that we are in, which would make your personal cycle being a 3. So 3 would be your personal year from October 10th to the end of the year. Now let's do one more, and hopefully it'll all make sense to you. So if your birthday is before June 23rd, you'll use the number 9 in your calculation. So you would do 6 plus 2 plus 3 plus 9, and that equals 20, and that reduces to 2. So 2 would be your personal year. Now, after your birthday on June 23rd, you would use 2017's number, which is the number 1. And so that would make the calculation 6 plus 2 plus 3 plus 1, which is 12, and reduces to 3. So 3 would be your personal number, your number after June 23rd. So now go ahead and calculate your personal year. So remember, you will have one number from the beginning of 2017 to when your birthday is, and then you'll have another number afterwards. So the number that you'll be using in your calculations before your birthday will be the number 9, and the number for the current year, and the number you'll be using after your birthday will be the number 1 for the current number for 2017. I know it sounds clear as mud, but this is, if you have any questions, this is where you can post them in the Facebook group, and I would be really happy to help you calculate your year. So now, once you've got this number, it means something. So if you are in a number 1 year, if this is a number 1 year for you, for one thing, it's going to be amplified by the universal energies, the 2017 energy, numerology. So But it's going to be a huge period where you're going to be initiating a new cycle of growth. And so you sift through all your ideas and plant the seeds of what you desire the most. And allow inspiration to come from spirit. And just, just don't get stuck in ego or being stubborn or thinking that you have the right answer and the only way. That's the only downside to that. So if your personal year is a number 2, this is a time to incubate your ideas and, surrender and allow and go with the flow and make friends and communicate your ideas and wishes and goals and listen to others and take, listen to them. And if they inspire you with something you can improve on, make improvements and don't shut yourself away. Don't become a hermit. This is a time for you to communicate with others and hash out, your ideas and see if you can, what you can make of it. If this is a number 3 personal year for you, this is a highly creative time. So you've planted your seeds and you've sort of reviewed it and kind of have surrendered to the direction that you're going to go. So now this is a highly creative time where you begin to see how your ideas can come into form. It's a time to socialize and to teach and to play and have fun and enjoy the benefits of your desires and have fun, but don't take too many risks and don't lose track of your goal. If it's a number 4 year, it's a time to knuckle down and pay attention to what you're working on. Lay out your plans and the foundations and be honest and honorable. And watch that you don't overwork or become rigid in your goals. So up to this time, you're it's like this idea that is coming into form, and the number 4 helps ground it. So if you're in a number 5 year, number 5 is all about change. It's like seeing both sides of the picture. It's like being able to, see the good side in the past and see the good in the future. It's a very flexible number. So it's a number of change. And it's a time where you can take and reevaluate your accomplishments so far and see if they match up with where you want to go. And you can make course corrections. Just watch that you don't get caught up in indecision, because that's the only problem when you can see all sides. It gets way overwhelming and way too confusing, and you can just kind of lose your momentum. If you're in a number 6 year, 6 is all about love and service and responsibility. So take your goals and start really sharing them with others. Start getting them out there. But be careful that you don't overdo with giving. And it's really important to take care of yourself. If you're in a 7 year, 7 is kind of like a time to it's like the sabbatical year. It's kind of like take a break. Because you've been working hard all the way up to this point, and you've been tweaking and adjusting and modifying and working with your idea to try and bring it into a form that's just the way you want it to be. But that takes a lot of energy, and you've been working a lot with external outside forces. Well, now it's a time to go within and connect with your spiritual nature and just make sure you're right on track. It's a time to recharge yourself. It's a time to revitalize yourself with nature, with taking care of yourself and getting rest, maybe getting more sleep, maybe getting massages, taking baths, eating, making sure you eat well. It's a year for self-care. So, and as you take care of yourself, you will get these insights, these lightning strikes of intuition that will spur you on and inspire you and prepare you for the next year, which is sort of like your big hurrah. So watch that you don't live in the past or overanalyze or brood or become too secretive, because it's a year that you do go within, and it's really easy to get just kind of wall off the world and don't share anything of yourself. So don't isolate yourself, but just make it a year of super self-nurturing. So you move into the 8th year, which is also another one of the energies that we're dealing with in 2017. So this is a very powerful year for you because you've got it amplified by the 2017. And 8 is also a very, it's a number for manifesting, for grounding, bringing to earth, bringing into physical reality what you've been working on so hard all this time. So, but be sure and keep an eye on the big picture as you go about, manifesting your goals, and, create big, make something that leaves a mark on this world, and recognize any challenges, because 8s usually have a lot of challenges. Saturn rules the number 8. You make sure that you look at challenges as opportunities that make you stronger and wiser. Now, if you're in a 9 year, this is sort of like the year you go, I made it. You draw your projects to a close, and you complete what you've started with an eye on how you liked it and what you want to create next. So take a look at the last 8 years and look for what worked and look for what didn't work and look for what you want to bring into your next new adventure. And also with the 9 energy, it's a time to reflect. It's a more humanitarian, a more unconditional, loving sort of energy. So apply this, to your life, to the people around you. See the light in other people's hearts, and be a role model. Become a beacon of hope and of humanitarian love. So just to refresh, these are the key numbers for 2017. It's 10 and a 1 and a 17 and an 8. So what you want to do now is take a look at your power numbers, your soul essence and your life purpose, because you have those. And do any of those match up with the archetypical numbers of 2017, the 1, the 10, the 8, or the 17. That's like the first step. The next step is to see what cycle are you in. Are you in a 1 year? Are you beginning a new cycle, or are you in the middle somewhere, or are you at the end? And and see how this, this is the cycle that you're in connecting with any of your power numbers or the numbers that are part of this current year. And so, what are the themes that are playing out for you? And, are these numbers that you're, these personal cycles that you're in, and your power numbers and the universal number, the 2017 universal numerology, is that supporting you, or is it challenging you? There's certain numbers that work well together, like 3 and 6 and 9, or 2 and 4 and 8, or 1 and 3 and 5. But there's other numbers that push against each other, like a 3 and a 4. The 3 is about play and the 4 is about work. And so it's like, how do you, they're kind of like opposites. And so there's one about, and there's numbers about being the leader, and like the 1 and the 8, and numbers like the 2 and the 7, which are more like going within. So though you see whether the numbers are supporting or challenging you, and what are the themes, the personal cycle that is playing out this year. What is the main theme that you're working with? Are you in the growth stage? Are you in the nurturing stage? Are you in the harvesting stage? And then ask yourself, what can you do to support yourself this year in becoming more than you are right now? So in the next video, we're going to discuss the astrology and the major transits for 2017.